Earth joined the Galactic Confederation 70 years ago. The aliens arrived in big ships that amazed everyone. They brought new technology and ideas. Most people were happy about this. Some were afraid. But the world leaders agreed that joining the space community was the right choice. Ethan Morgan was the main person who talked to the aliens back then. He was good with words and stayed calm even when things got tense. Because of him, Earth got a fair deal when joining all the other planets. Now, many years later, humans lived on several planets. They had ships that could travel between stars. They learned alien languages and traded with strange beings from faraway worlds. But something was odd about how other species saw humans. Lisa Rodriguez noticed this every day. She worked on Nexus Prime, a planet where many aliens lived together. Lisa studied alien life forms and wrote reports about them. But she also heard what they said about humans when they thought no one was listening. The humans are too quiet. A tall blue alien with 4 arms told his friend. They never argue in the big meetings, they don't join our battles, they just watch and listen. Another alien with scales and bright eyes called humans the Watchers when talking to Lisa. Your kind makes me nervous, he said. You smile and nod, but you keep your thoughts hidden. Lisa didn't know what to say to this. Humans were just being careful. After all, they were new to space travel compared to other species who had been exploring the stars for thousands of years. On the space station orbiting Jupiter, Commander Alan Kent felt the same strange looks from alien visitors. He led Earth's defense fleet, 50 ships that protected human colonies. The fleet was small compared to others in the Confederation, but Alan made sure every ship and crew member performed perfectly. Your pilots are very controlled, said a visiting commander from the bird-like avis species. They follow orders exactly and never show excitement or fear. It's not natural. Alan just nodded. We train them well, he said. What the aliens didn't understand was why humans acted this way. They didn't know about Earth's bloody history, the countless wars, the weapons that nearly destroyed the planet several times, the lessons learned through pain and loss. Before joining the Confederation, all Earth nations had signed a secret agreement. They would never show the galaxy how good humans were at fighting wars. They would be quiet, respectful, and avoid conflicts. The galaxy didn't need to know what humans could really do when pushed too far. This agreement was called the Prometheus Clause. Only top government officials and military leaders knew about it. It guided every human action in space. At the Confederation, Center on Nexus Prime, representatives from 300 species met to discuss trade routes and borders. Grace Powell sat quietly at the human desk, taking notes as aliens argued loudly about territory. Some species threatened others. Some formed alliances. Humans rarely spoke up. The oldest species in the room were the Qulari. They looked like tall, thin humans with pale blue skin and white hair. But they were much older than they appeared. Their civilization existed when Earth people were still living in caves. After the meeting, the Qulari representative approached Grace. His name was Zinta, and he moved slowly like someone carrying great wisdom. You humans are unusual, he said in a soft voice. Most young species enter the galactic community making noise, demanding attention, trying to prove themselves. But your kind watches and waits. Grace smiled politely. We're still learning. No, said Zinta. You are holding back. We have seen this pattern before. The silent ones are often the most dangerous when they finally speak. Grace felt a chill run down her spine but kept her face neutral. We only want peaceful relations with all species. The old alien studied her face. I hope that remains true, for everyone's sake. On the edge of human space, a small research station orbited the planet Epsilon Eridani IV. 20 scientists lived there, studying the planet's unique plant life. The station was small and had minimal defenses, just enough to warn of passing asteroids or space debris. Dr. Olivia Mason looked out the window at the green planet below. She loved working here, away from the politics of Earth and the strange, social rules of alien worlds. Plants made sense to her in a way people never did. "Doctor, we're picking up something on the long-range scanners," said Peter Clark, the station's technician. Olivia joined him at the control panel. "What is it?" "Ships. 3 of them, big ones." Peter's voice sounded worried. "They're not broadcasting any identification. Send the standard Confederation greeting," Olivia said. Peter sent the message. They waited. Nothing came back. "Try the emergency channel," Olivia suggested. Before Peter could do this, the station shook violently. Warning lights flashed red. "We're being scanned with targeting systems," Peter shouted. Olivia rushed to the communication system. "Unknown vessels, this is Research Station Epsilon 7. We are an unarmed scientific outpost, please respond." The only answer was another blast that knocked out their power systems. Emergency lights came on as the station's backup systems activated. Through the window, Olivia saw the ships clearly now. They had sharp, angled designs with red markings. She recognized them from Confederation security briefings, Krell warships. The Krell were known for their aggressive expansion, but had never directly attacked Confederation members before. "Everyone, to the escape pods," Olivia ordered through the station speakers. "This is not a drill. Activate data preservation protocols and proceed to escape pods immediately." As scientists rushed around gathering critical research samples, another blast hit the station. A section of the wall tore open, and 3 people were pulled into space before emergency shields activated. Olivia helped the remaining team members reach the escape pods. She made sure each pod contained copies of their research data. As the station broke apart around them, she pushed Peter into the last pod. "What about you?" he asked. "There's room for one more," she said, reaching for the final data core. Another explosion rocked the station. Peter was knocked unconscious. Olivia sealed his pod and launched it, then grabbed the data core and ran for the backup pod, smaller and less likely to survive, but her only chance now. As her tiny craft ejected from the dying station, Olivia saw Krell boarding parties entering through the breach. They weren't just destroying the station, they were searching it first. The small pod's communication system was basic, but it could record. Olivia activated it and began speaking. "This is Dr. Olivia Mason of Research Station Epsilon 7. We have been attacked without warning by Krell forces. This appears to be a deliberate action, not an accident. They are taking our research before destroying everything. If anyone receives this message, please alert Earth Defense immediately. The Krell are..." A blast from one of the Krell ships hit nearby, sending her pod tumbling through space. For 3 days, Olivia drifted, conserving oxygen and power, recording everything she had seen. She didn't know if anyone would ever find her, but she had to try. Far away on Earth, no one yet knew what had happened. But soon, the quiet species would have reason to break their long silence. 3 days passed before a human supply ship found Olivia's escape pod. She was weak but alive. The small pod had kept her breathing, but its power was almost gone. When the rescue team opened the hatch, Olivia handed them her data recorder first. "They attacked us without warning," she whispered. "The Krell. They killed everyone." Within hours, Olivia's recording reached Earth. The Global Defense Council met in their underground chamber beneath the old United Nations building in New York. 12 men and women sat around a circular table, watching Olivia's footage on large screens. The recordings showed everything. The Krell ships approaching. The first attack that damaged the station. Then Krell soldiers in black armor moving through. The broken halls collecting research samples and computer cores. Finally, the systematic destruction of what remained. Admiral Frank Cooper, head of Earth Space Forces, stood up when the recording ended. This was not a mistake. The Krell knew exactly what they were doing. They wanted our research and then removed all evidence. President Laura Hill nodded slowly. "How many dead?" 19 confirmed. "Only Dr. Mason survived," said Frank. The room was silent for a long moment. Then President Hill spoke the words no one had expected to hear in their lifetime. "Activate the Prometheus Clause." Every person in the room looked shocked. The Prometheus Clause had existed for 70 years but had never been used. It was the emergency plan for when humanity could no longer hide its true nature from the galaxy. "Are you certain, Madam President?" asked Admiral Cooper. "Once we do this, we can never go back to how things were. The Krell have killed our people. They will do it again if they think we are weak, said President Hill. Send the message. Across human space, encrypted signals traveled faster than light. On every human ship and colony, special compartments were unlocked. Hidden weapon systems came online. Military personnel opened sealed orders they had trained for, but never expected to use. The next day, Earth's representatives went to the Confederation Council meeting on Nexus Prime. The Grand Hall was filled with aliens from hundreds of worlds. Grace Powell took her usual seat at the human desk. But unlike other days, she did not sit quietly. When the council leader called for new business, Grace stood up. Earth wishes to formally report an act of war by the Krell Dominion against a peaceful human research station. The hall buzzed with surprised voices. Humans rarely brought issues to the full council. The Krell representative, a tall being with gray skin and sharp teeth, looked annoyed. The human station was in contested space, he said. If there was an incident, it was clearly an unfortunate mistake. The Krell offer standard compensation for any damage. Grace played Olivia's recording on the large screens around the hall. Many aliens looked away as they saw the Krell soldiers executing surrendered human scientists. Others watched with cold interest. When the recording finished, Grace spoke again. This was no accident, this was a planned attack. The Krell believed humans would accept their excuses out of fear. They were wrong. The Krell representative smiled, showing his pointed teeth. And what will the humans do? Your entire defense fleet is smaller than a single Krell battle group. You have no choice but to accept our apology and compensation. Grace's face showed no emotion. We reject your offer. Earth has filed a formal grievance with the Confederation. We request a full investigation and sanctions against the Krell Dominion. The Confederation Security Council agreed to investigate, but did not promise action. Many expected humans to argue more strongly, but Grace simply nodded and sat down. The meeting moved on to other topics. The Krell representative leaned toward his assistant. See? The humans are soft. They will complain to the council but do nothing else. Their species lacks the will for conflict. What the Krell didn't know was that human actions were already underway. At the edge of human space, the colony on Proxima Centauri III received an encrypted message from Earth. Governor Ben Mitchell read it and immediately called his security chief, Jack Nelson. Open Storage Facility 0, said Ben. Authorization code, Perseus Rising. Jack looked surprised. Sir, that facility has been sealed since the colony was founded. I know. But the time has come. Deep beneath the colony's main building, a hidden door opened for the first time in 40 years. Inside was not the extra food supplies or medical equipment that most colonists believed was stored there. Instead, the large chamber contained advanced weapon systems, combat armor, and military equipment that no alien had ever seen humans use. Similar scenes happened on every human world. On Mars, hidden hangars opened to reveal fighter ships more advanced than anything humans had shown to the Confederation. On the moon base, engineers activated defense systems that had been disguised as scientific equipment. In orbit around Saturn, a space station that appeared to be a simple research facility transformed as panels shifted to reveal missile launchers and energy weapons. The small human defensive fleet that aliens had often dismissed suddenly had 3 times more ships than anyone knew existed. 5 days after the attack on Olivia's station, the Krell struck again. This time, they hit a small mining operation on an asteroid near the edge of human space. 30 miners worked there, extracting rare minerals. The Krell expected another easy victory. 3 Krell warships approached the asteroid. Their commander, Drak Tool, had fought many battles against other species. He did not consider humans a serious threat. Target their communication array first, he ordered. Then their life support systems. We want their mining data before we destroy everything. The Krell ships fired their first shots, but instead of hitting vulnerable targets, their weapons struck an energy shield that had not been there before. The shield glowed blue as it absorbed the attack. Impossible, said Drak Tool. Our scans showed no defensive capabilities. From behind the asteroid, 2 human ships appeared. They were smaller than the Krell vessels but moved with surprising speed. These were not the simple transport ships that aliens were used to seeing. These were warships that had been hidden from the galaxy for decades. Human vessels. This is Commander Drak Tool of the Krell Dominion. Your defensive posture is noted, but futile. Surrender the mining facility and you may leave with your lives. The response came from Captain Aaron West aboard the human vessel Defender. Krell vessels, you have entered restricted human space and attacked our facilities twice now. We will not allow a third attack. Drak Tool laughed. You have 2 small ships against 3 Krell war cruisers. Your bravery is admirable but misplaced. You misunderstand, said Aaron. We are not here to fight you. We are here to show you what happens when you threaten humanity. From the asteroid itself, panels opened to reveal weapons that had been hidden under fake rock formations. From the far side of the system, 5 more human ships appeared on Krell sensors. For the first time, Drak Tool felt uncertain. This was not what he had expected from humans. Before he could give new orders, the human ships attacked. Their weapons cut through Krell shields with surprising ease. The asteroid's defense system disabled 1 Krell ship's engines immediately. The human vessels moved in patterns that confused Krell targeting systems. Retreat, shouted Drak Tool. Full power to engines. As the damaged Krell ships fled, they sent urgent messages back to their homeworld. The humans were not what they appeared to be. They had been hiding their true strength all along. On Earth, President Hill received the news of the Krell retreat with a grim expression. And so it begins, she said quietly. After 70 years of peace, the galaxy will now learn why humanity chose to stay silent for so long. News of the failed Krell attack spread quickly through the Confederation. Alien diplomats and military observers were shocked. The humans they had dismissed as weak had somehow defeated 3 Krell warships with ease. Something was very wrong with what they thought they knew about humans. On the Confederation hub world Nexus Prime, Ambassador Daniel Wright called for an emergency meeting. Unlike previous gatherings where humans sat quietly, this time Daniel stood at the center of the Grand Council chamber. For 70 years, humanity has been a peaceful member of this confederation, he began. We traded fairly. We followed your rules. We never started conflicts. And how were we rewarded? The Krell attacked our research station and killed our people. The Confederation did nothing. Alien representatives shifted uncomfortably in their seats. The Krell ambassador was noticeably absent. Daniel continued, Today I am authorized to share something with you. What you know as human standard vessels are actually only our light diplomatic class ships. What you have seen of human military technology is only what we chose to show you. He pressed a button and holographic images appeared above the chamber. They showed human ships and weapons unlike anything the aliens had seen before. The designs were sleek but clearly built for war. These are our true defense forces, said Daniel. We kept them hidden because we hoped never to need them. Humanity's history is filled with terrible wars. When we joined the stars, we promised ourselves we would not bring our talent for destruction unless forced. The Kulari ambassador nodded slowly. His species had suspected something like this. The other aliens looked worried or angry. This is deception, shouted the representative from the Zenith Empire. You have violated Confederation transparency laws. Daniel faced him calmly. We violated no laws. We simply did not volunteer information that was not required. The Confederation Charter allows any species to maintain defensive capabilities as they see fit. Back on Earth, Admiral Frank Cooper met with the leaders of Earth's hidden fleet. Screens showed human ships moving into new positions throughout their territory. Security systems that had been dormant for decades were now fully active. The Krell will respond, Frank told his commanders. Their pride won't allow them to accept defeat from a species they thought was weak. We need to be ready. Captain Aaron West, fresh from the victory at the asteroid mining facility, asked the question everyone was thinking. How far are we authorized to go, sir? The Prometheus clause has many levels. Frank's face grew serious. For now, we are at level 2. Reveal our defensive capabilities and protect our territory. The President hopes this will be enough to make the Krell back down. No one said what they were all thinking. What if it wasn't enough? 3 days later, the Krell proved Frank right. This time, they didn't send just 3 ships. They sent 30. Their target was the human colony on Europa 9, a large research station orbiting Jupiter's moon. The station was home to 500 scientists and their families. It had important laboratories studying Jupiter's atmosphere. The Krell expected to overwhelm any defenses the humans might have with their superior numbers. What they didn't expect was Paul Harris and the station's security team. Paul had been a simple security guard as far as any visiting aliens knew. Now, he and his team wore powered armor suits that had been stored in hidden compartments throughout the station. When Krell boarding parties cut through the outer doors, they expected to find frightened scientists. Instead, they met 20 humans in armor that enhanced their strength and speed. The humans carried weapons that could pierce Krell battle armor with ease. Paul led the defense, moving through the station's corridors with practiced skill. His team had trained for this scenario for years, always in secret, always hoping they would never need to use their training. The Krell commander watched in horror as his boarding teams were pushed back. "What is happening?" he demanded. "These are just humans." His second-in-command had no good answer. Nothing in their intelligence suggested humans could fight like this. Outside the station, the battle in space wasn't going any better for the Krell. Human ships appeared from hiding places around Jupiter's moons. They moved in formations the Krell had never seen before, using tactics that seemed impossible. The human vessels were commanded by Captain Sofia Martinez. Her flagship, the Vigilant, was a ship class no alien had ever recorded in their databases. "Target their weapon systems," Sofia ordered. "Disable, don't destroy unless necessary." Her crew worked with calm efficiency. They had trained for this moment their entire careers, all while pretending to be simple transport pilots or science vessel operators when aliens were watching. After 2 hours of fighting, the Krell retreated again. This time, they left behind 7 damaged ships and hundreds of soldiers who had been captured by Paul's security team. The Krell commander sent an urgent message to his homeworld. "The humans are not what we believed. Their technology exceeds our intelligence reports by at least 50 years. Their soldiers fight with unexpected skill and coordination. Request immediate reinforcements." On Nexus Prime, the news of this second human victory caused even more confusion and concern among the Confederation species. If humans had hidden this much, what else were they hiding? The Kulari ambassador requested a private meeting with Daniel Wright. In a quiet room away from the other representatives, the ancient alien spoke his mind. "Your kind reminds me of the Sentinel species from long ago," he said. "They too kept their power hidden until provoked beyond endurance. When they finally revealed their true strength, the galaxy trembled." Daniel didn't confirm or deny the comparison. "What happened to them?" he asked instead. "They won their war," said the Kulari, "and then they disappeared from the galaxy entirely. Some say they ascended to a higher plane. Others believe they simply decided that the galaxy was not worth the trouble and isolated themselves forever." Daniel nodded thoughtfully. "Humanity doesn't wish to disappear or to rule. We only want peace." "Peace through strength," noted the Kulari. "A dangerous path, but perhaps the only one possible with species like the Krell." As they spoke, the Krell were not idle. Their war council met in their homeworld's great fortress. The room was filled with battle-scarred veterans who had conquered many worlds before joining the Confederation. High General Vrak slammed his fist on the table. "These humans have made fools of us. They pretended to be weak while building weapons in secret. They must be crushed completely to restore our honor." The Krell King, a massive figure with ritual scars covering his gray skin, nodded in agreement. "Prepare the main battle fleet. All ships, all warriors. We will show these humans what it means to face the full might of the Krell Dominion." Little did they know that humanity was just beginning to reveal its true capabilities. The ancient fury that humans had kept leashed for 70 years was stirring, and the galaxy was about to witness why Earth had chosen silence for so long. The Krell main battle fleet took 3 days to gather. It was the largest collection of warships seen in the Confederation in 50 years. 300 vessels of various sizes formed up near the Krell homeworld. Their weapons glowed with power. Their hulls bore the marks of past victories against other species. On the command ship, High General Vrak addressed his battle leaders. The humans have surprised us twice. They will not do so again. We have studied their tactics. We know their colony locations. This time we will crush them completely." His officers roared with approval. The Krell lived for war. They had joined the Confederation only because they had run out of easy targets. Now they had found a new enemy to fight. What they didn't know was that humans were watching them. Small stealth probes hidden near the Krell homeworld transmitted everything back to Earth. Admiral Frank Cooper and his staff saw the massive fleet gathering. "They're committing everything," said Frank. "This isn't just about our research stations anymore. The Krell want to eliminate us as a species." President Laura Hill's face showed no fear on the video screen. "Then we must show them why that's impossible. Activate Prometheus Level 3. Frank nodded grimly. "Yes, Madam President." Throughout human space, new orders went out. This time, they called for more than just defensive measures. Hidden shipyards that even most humans didn't know existed activated production lines. Weapon systems that had been theoretical studies in public documents became real working tools of war. Most importantly, Project Lighthouse was activated. This was humanity's greatest secret. For 70 years, small automated platforms had been quietly placed throughout human territory. Each looked like a simple navigation beacon or research buoy. Each contained enough firepower to destroy a capital ship. No alien species had ever detected them because they used technology humans had never shared with the Confederation. They were humanity's last line of defense, created after Earth's most terrible wars had shown what could happen when a civilization was unprepared. The Krell fleet moved out. They planned to attack all major human worlds at once, overwhelming any defenses with pure numbers. High General Vrak was confident. Even if the humans had some tricks left, they couldn't possibly defend against so many targets. For 7 days, all human colonies went silent. Communication buoys stopped transmitting. Trade ships disappeared from their routes. Even Earth itself stopped all standard Confederation protocols. The aliens called this the 7 days of silence. No one knew what it meant. Some thought humans were hiding in fear. Others suspected they were preparing something. The Kulari ambassador warned the Confederation Council, "When a prey animal goes still, it is not always from fear. Sometimes it is preparing to strike." On the 8th day, the Krell fleet approached the edge of human space. Their first target was the colony on Alpha Centauri, humanity's oldest settlement away from Earth. The Krell expected to find it poorly defended now that they knew what to look for. What they found instead was emptiness. The human ships that should have been there were gone. The space stations showed no power signatures. Scans of the planet showed the colony cities were empty of life. "Where are they?" demanded Vrak. "Scan again." His officers checked their instruments repeatedly. "No human life signs, General. The colony appears abandoned." Vrak growled in frustration. "They fled like cowards. Continue to the next target." But as the Krell ships turned to leave the system, something changed. Hundreds of small objects that their sensors had registered as space debris suddenly activated. The lighthouse nodes had been waiting silently. The first sign of trouble was when 3 Krell ships at the edge of their formation simply disappeared in flashes of light. Then 5 more. Then a dozen. "We're under attack," shouted Vrak's second in command. "But there are no ships. Our sensors show only small objects too small to be vessels." Vrak watched in horror as his carefully assembled fleet was being torn apart by weapons he couldn't see or understand. "Return fire! Target those objects!" The Krell ships fired at the lighthouse nodes, but the small platforms were fast and hard to hit. More importantly, they had been built to absorb tremendous damage before failing. As the Krell fleet fell into chaos, human ships finally appeared. They dropped out of faster-than-light travel in a perfect formation around the Krell. These weren't the ships aliens had seen before. These were vessels from humanity's true navy. On the bridge of the Earth vessel, Vigilant Dawn, Admiral John Pierce watched the battle unfold. His ship was massive, almost twice the size of the largest Krell vessel. Yet until today, no alien had ever seen it or known it existed. "Target their engines and weapons," John ordered. "Disable as many as possible." His crew worked with practiced, precision. They had trained for this scenario for their entire careers, always in secret facilities hidden from alien eyes. The Krell tried to fight back, but they were caught between the lighthouse nodes and the human fleet. Their weapons seemed weak compared to what the humans brought to bear. Their shields failed against technologies they had never encountered. Vrak couldn't understand what was happening. How can they have such weapons? How did we not know? The answer was simple. Humans had deliberately hidden their true capabilities from the galaxy. They had shown only what they wanted others to see, keeping their most advanced technologies secret. After just 40 minutes of battle, half the Krell fleet was disabled or destroyed. Vrak stared at his tactical display in disbelief. No species had ever defeated the Krell so completely. "Send the surrender signal," he finally ordered, his voice hollow with shock. The human ship stopped firing immediately. Admiral Pierce opened a communication channel. "This is Admiral John Pierce of Earth. We accept your surrender, General Vrak. We will provide assistance to your damaged vessels and rescue your crews." Vrak was confused by this offer. The Krell never helped defeated enemies. "Why would you help us after we attacked you?" "Because that is what humans do," replied John. "We fight when we must, but we prefer peace. We help those in need, even former enemies." This concept was alien to the Krell mind. They respected strength above all else, and now they had seen humanity's strength. But this compassion after victory confused them even more. As human medical ships moved to assist damaged Krell vessels, news of the battle spread throughout the Confederation. No one had expected such a decisive victory. No one had imagined humans possessed such power. On Nexus Prime, the Confederation Council called an emergency session. The Kulari ambassador spoke first. "We told you the quiet ones are the most dangerous. When they finally speak," he reminded the other representatives. "Humanity kept its fury leashed for 70 years. Now we have seen just a glimpse of what they can do when provoked." The council chamber was filled with worried whispers. If humans had hidden this much, what else were they hiding? And what would they do with their victory? 2 weeks after the Great Battle, representatives from all Confederation species gathered on Nexus Prime. The Grand Council chamber was filled beyond capacity. Everyone wanted to hear what the humans would say, now that they had defeated the Krell so completely. Ambassador Rebecca Nash walked to the center of the chamber. She was new to her position, chosen specifically for this important moment. The room fell silent as she began to speak. "For 70 years we have lived among you as the quiet species," she said. "Many of you thought we were weak. Others thought we were hiding something. Both were right in their way." She activated a holographic display showing Earth's history. It showed ancient battles, world wars, and terrible weapons that had nearly destroyed human civilization more than once. "Humanity nearly wiped itself out before we reached the stars," Rebecca continued. "We learned the hard cost of violence. When we joined your confederation, we made a promise to ourselves. We would not bring our talent for warfare to the galaxy unless forced." The Krell representative, no longer proud but subdued, watched silently from his seat. "We kept our most advanced technologies hidden. We built our true fleets in secret. We hoped never to need them," Rebecca said. "The Krell mistook our restraint for weakness. They have learned otherwise." Many alien representatives shifted uncomfortably. If humans had hidden this much power, what should they expect now? "You fear what we might do next," Rebecca acknowledged. "Your concern is reasonable. A species that can defeat the Krell so easily could threaten the entire Confederation." The room was completely still now. Everyone waited for the human demands, the price of their victory. "What we do next is this: we return to peace," said Rebecca, surprising everyone. "We did not reveal our strength to conquer. We revealed it to protect. Now that the threat is gone, we will return our most powerful weapons to storage. Our ships will go back to their hidden docks. Our colonies will rebuild." The aliens could not believe what they were hearing. In their experience, any species that gained advantage always used it to take more power. "But know this," Rebecca continued, her voice growing firmer. "We will not hide our capabilities any longer. The galaxy now knows what humanity can do when provoked. We hope this knowledge will foster peace rather than fear. She looked directly at the Krell representative. We have accepted your surrender and signed a peace treaty with your leaders. We expect you to honor it. If you break faith again, our response will be even swifter. After the meeting, Rebecca met privately with Kyle Bennett, Earth's military attaché. They watched from a window as alien representatives hurried back to their ships, no doubt to report everything to their governments. Do you think they understood our message? Kyle asked. Some did. Others will need time, Rebecca replied. The important thing is that we showed both our strength and our restraint. One without the other would have been dangerous. On Earth, life began returning to normal. The emergency measures were scaled back. Hidden weapon systems went back into standby mode. But things would never be exactly the same as before. Dr. Kevin Wallace worked in the global archives, updating the historical records with the events of what people now called the Krell incident. As historian and advisor to Earth's government, he had the important job of documenting this turning point in human history. The ancient fury remains leashed, he wrote in his final entry, but now the galaxy knows it exists. May this knowledge foster respect rather than fear, and may we never again be forced to demonstrate why humanity chose silence for so long. 3 months later, the Krell King himself traveled to Earth. It was unprecedented for the ruler of such a proud warrior species to visit another world. He came with only a small guard, a sign of how completely the Krell worldview had been shaken. In the Great Meeting Hall in New York, the Krell King faced President Laura Hill. Despite being nearly 8 feet tall and covered in battle scars, the alien leader seemed subdued in the presence of the human president. My people have lived by conquest for 10,000 years, he said through his translator. We respected only those who could defeat us. Now we respect humans. President Hill nodded. We accept your respect, but we would prefer friendship in time. The Krell King tilted his head in confusion. Friendship? With a defeated enemy? With a fellow member of the Confederation, corrected Hill. Humans believe that former enemies can become the strongest allies, once they understand each other. This concept was new to the Krell, but they were learning. Their defeat had opened them to new ideas they would never have considered before. On the colony world New Eden, Olivia Mason watched the meeting on her screen. She had survived the initial Krell attack that started everything, and now she led a new research team studying plant life. But this time, her facility had proper defenses that everyone could see. Do you think they'll attack again someday? Asked her assistant Peter, who had also survived the original attack. I don't think so, said Olivia. Not now that they know who we really are. As peace settled over human space again, changes were happening throughout the Confederation. Species that had previously ignored humans now sought trade agreements and cultural exchanges. The Kulari offered to share some of their ancient knowledge, something they rarely did with younger species. Commander Andrea Collins, now in charge of Earth's visible defense fleet, received many visitors from alien military forces. They all wanted to understand how humans fought, how they thought about war and peace. One day, a young Krell officer asked her the question that many had wondered. Why did humans show such restraint in victory? You could have destroyed our homeworld. You could have demanded our territory. Instead, you only asked for peace. Andrea's answer was simple but profound. Because true power is not measured by how hard you can strike, but by how precisely you choose not to. The Krell officer considered this for a long time. It went against everything his species had believed for thousands of years. Yet he could not deny the evidence before him. Humans had defeated the mighty Krell not just with superior weapons, but with a philosophy of war his people had never imagined. As the years passed, humanity's colonies flourished under a new understanding with their galactic neighbors. The quiet species had spoken, not with grandiose threats or claims of superiority, but with the controlled precision that indicated depths still untested. And though many alien species still found humans strange or unsettling, none ever again mistook their silence for weakness. The ancient fury had been revealed, then carefully contained once more. But it remained there, a sleeping giant that the galaxy would never forget.